Yo, what's going on? This video will show you the exact funnel, the entire infrastructure that I have built to scale my agency to 26 grand a month. And this video alone should be all that you need to get crystal clear on what you should be doing. And I say it all the time, but there's so much noise out there and you're consuming so much content that what you need is one solid infrastructure that you could just plug into and know exactly what you need to do. So sit tight, take notes, watch this video all the way through. If you find yourself wanting to jump onto TikTok halfway through, that's the brokey talking, right? You just need this video, watch the full thing, you'll know exactly what you need to do, and then delete YouTube and just get to it, okay? So let's go ahead and break down this entire funnel and this complex thing that looks super confusing. Basically, I call this the 1,000 outreach a day funnel. That's just a fancy name. You don't need to send 1,000 outreach a day to hit even 10K a month, like nowhere near that. I think I was sending like 400 a day to hit my first 10K month, but we're gonna break it down step by step and how you could go about the entire process. So from top down, what you're looking at is, a top of funnel. We have in the blue, it represents like a cold prospect. And then we have middle of funnel, which is yellow, meaning like warmish. And that's how we actually nurture our cold leads to be interested and open to paying us a ton of money. And then at the bottom of the funnel is the red. It's the hot, it's the conversion process. It's how you get calls on your calendar and get people to pay you thousands of dollars over a Zoom call. Now, the bottom here in white is the actual service delivery section. So I'm going to be going over how you automate the entire business. That shouldn't be what you're focused on as a beginner, but I'm still going to show you what to do when you eventually get there. And yeah, let's just jump straight into it. So the first thing you need to do if you're starting from scratch is you need to solve the traffic problem, right? You don't have enough leads. There's three things you need to be doing to start making money. It's getting leads, it's booking appointments, and it's closing appointments. So we're solving the first problem, which is getting leads. And the way that I went about it and the way that I recommend you do it, because it's very cost effective, it's actually free if you start doing it yourself, is to do Facebook and Instagram cold DMs. This is how we generate attention. We're not running ads, we're not posting content. Like, this is the most efficient way to get started. Now, the only key note that I'll tell you about Facebook and Instagram cold DMs, this is what you need. One, you need a dialed in script and you need a good follow-up sequence. The only way that you get a dialed in script is by iterating and testing what works in your niche, right? I always recommend that when you pitch somebody in a cold DM, you should come from a place of providing value, whether that's offering to show them a video, solving one of their problems. That has worked personally super well for me. But this is where we start, right? We find prospects on Facebook or Instagram and we're gonna hit them with pitches. And that's the idea. This little note in purple is the hire that you could make to automate this step of the process, which would be an outreach specialist that you could pay as little as $3 an hour to actually do it for you. That comes once you have your first couple of clients. Now, in order, if you're gonna be the one doing this yourself, I recommend that you get to the point where you could send at least 200 DMs per day. And if you've watched my previous videos, the way you do it is by buying multiple different either Instagram or Facebook accounts and then sending around 40 to 50 DMs per day per account in order to scale up, okay? Now, in terms of the top of funnel, that's how we go about it. The only way that you're going to get a good script is by iterating. And what I use as a sample size is 200 for everything. So if you're trying to figure out if your pitch is working well or not, use a sample size of 200 messages. Too many people will send 10, 20 messages and think their script sucks or cold DMs don't work. And it's just that you're not doing enough. You're not doing enough volume to even know if it's working or not. Once you do 200 and you look back at the positive response rate, remember KPI for that is we want at least 5% of leads to positively respond, okay? Now, that's all you're really looking for at the top of funnel. And yeah, moving on from that, right? That should take care of the traffic problem is developing a DM sequence, okay? This is where so many people get this wrong, and I might sound a little bit passionate about this, man, but it just kind of pisses me off because people think cold DMs don't work, and what they're doing is they're pitching somebody to try to book them on a call right away. And it's the dumbest thing that you could be doing. Like, I can't think of something better to waste my time with, right? People go from sending a cold DM all the way down here to a sales call. Like, that's what people try to do. And it's bogus. Like, these people that you're pitching don't trust you. They don't even know who you are or what you do. And this is how I started. And the problem is that I would get sales calls. It wasn't optimal. Like I wasn't getting as many as I am now with this strategy. But when I would get on this sales call, what would I hear? They would tell me, okay, so explain what you do. Like, what do you even do? Who are you? And I was like, are you kidding me? Like it just, I hated it. Like I never wanted to hear that again from a prospect. And so in order to solve that, you need to build a middle of funnel. Okay. And the way that we do that is this entire process that you could see in yellow right here. It's the nurture and appointment setting mechanism. So when you're pitching people, again, I recommend you pitch a video or something of value, and that will lead to not an engaged lead. Instead, it'll just be somebody it's a lead that has shown interest. Okay. Now, once you get a lead that has shown interest, I recommend that you send them a VSL. So this could be what you actually pitch in your DM message, is to send them a VSL explaining what you do, explaining your process, how you're different, and really making you unique and getting them to trust you, okay? So that's the next step. Like that alone is a nugget. You should make a VSL, and I'll make a separate video on how to actually make an in-depth good VSL. But I mean, key tips for you just for now, just go and make a Loom video explaining it on a Google Doc, is literally just tell them who you are, your credentials, who you've helped, exactly what you do and how it's different. It's so important that you mention how it's different. This right here, I want you to write this down, like put this somewhere on your wall. If you think that just telling people that you do Facebook or Google ads or short form content editing, if you think that's enough to make 10K a month, you're out of your mind, because we're not in 2019 anymore. Like everybody could do Facebook ads. Every local business owner can go and search one YouTube video and learn how to post an ad. That's not what's going to make you stand out, right? That's not value, because value is something rare that people, it's scarce, right? It's a resource that people are willing to pay for because they don't know how to do it themselves, or they want to save time and have you do it for them, okay? So you want to craft a VSL that explains exactly that and how you're different, and really showcases your process, so that when you get them on a call, it's sort of a layup. Like they understand exactly what you do, and you just have to figure out if you could truly help them, and then go over pricing, right? Now, these two other options right here in terms of email sequence, we have content on main page. I wouldn't be too worried about this. Again, I'm just showing you what worked for me, but I implemented this way later after I was doing 20K a month. And basically what that entails is not only are you sending your leads a VSL, but you're also getting them added into an email drip campaign where you push more valuable videos for them by collecting their email over the DMs. And another method is to actually post content on one main Instagram account and then funnel all of your interested leads and say, hey, on my main page, I'm posting some valuable content. Like we just want them to consume as much content as possible, just like the VSL is content, but we're really trying to sell them on the VSL for the call. And the main goal out of this is to give them some sort of call to action. So in the VSL, you want a call to action at the end. The way that I would go about it is literally giving away how I do everything for my clients, and then saying, look, if you want this implemented, if you don't want to waste thousands of dollars trying to learn it and testing ads yourself, and you want to save the time from having to do it yourself, then you could click down below to book a call with me. And you say that on the VSL, you just make a landing page on Go High Level, and you give them a link to book a call with you on your Calendly, right? Now, this alone is how I would book about like 5 to 10% of my calls is through just auto bookings here. But the problem is that even the people that do use a VSL, they solely rely on it. And again, another stupid strategy. Because what about the other 95% of leads? You're just going to throw them in the dumpster. You don't want to do that. And so that's why this alone, like what I'm going to explain right here, is the most valuable part, which is intro calls, okay? This has made me so much money that it's actually not even funny. And basically what it is once you're able to send them the VSL, what I personally did, because my niche was easy to find their information online, you have two options. One is you could scrape their phone number after they have already shown interest and you got them and you sent them the VSL, and then add them as a contact into High Level, and then you go and call them. Second option, you send them the VSL, and then on that landing page, you actually make them opt in with their phone number. And that's another way, in case it's really hard to find your niche's phone numbers or the owner's phone number. on their Instagram or on Safari or whatever you're doing. And so once you get their phone number, you get them in high level, what you're going to do is you're going to call these leads, and I recommend you absolutely dial your life away until they block you. I mean, this is like grueling work, honestly, but it's where I booked 95% of my sales calls. And it's literally a 5 to 10 minute conversation with the lead where you're asking them questions. You're like financially qualifying them. You're asking them if they're in a position to, have something, to work with you, and if they have the problem that you're solving, right, with your unique marketing angle. Not just saying that you do Facebook ads, you're solving a specific problem, and every niche has a different problem that they mainly struggle with, okay? So that's the goal of the intro call, and then leading them into a 45 minute sales call is the goal. Okay, so that means that we're going to be getting about 5 to 10% of leads to book in from the VSL if we have a killer VSL. And then from intro calls, we're going to be getting about the other 95%. We're going to be dialing them away and trying to book them into an appointment as well. Now, in terms of the automation step, I kind of skipped over this, but this is the keynote for the middle of funnel, is the content on your Instagram. It's meant to nurture. The VSL is meant to pre-sell your prospects on your solution. And then the email sequence is to stay top of mind and also remind people to watch the VSL. That's one issue I had ran into before. That's why I added in the email sequence, is some people wouldn't take the time to actually watch the VSL. And so if you keep emailing them, hey, watch this dang video, they're going to watch it. Okay. Now, in terms of where you could automate this as you scale, what you could do is you could hire an appointment setter, and I had 2 different appointment setters that would actually call these leads, okay? And the idea here is they literally just go into high level, and you get your VAs, right, your outreach specialist, or if it's you doing it yourself, to add the contact information from the leads that are interested, that you sent them the VSL to, into high level. You add them as a contact, and then your setters come into high level and call the leads for you, right? And they just book the sales calls onto your calendar. So that's the idea. That's where you could automate this. That's where a lot of the workload comes off, is once you have the VAs, you have the setter running, now you're just getting calls just booked onto your calendar. And that's kind of where I was at. And yeah, I guess little tidbit here is intro call. You need a really killer intro call script, and that'll just come with time. I could make a whole separate video on this as well. And cadence as well. How often are you calling? When are you calling? At what time of the day? And that whole type of thing as well. Now, next step is sales calls. So you need to have a killer sales process in terms of getting them on the call and providing value. I mean, really diving deep into their problems and how you could help them. One really key point that I'll give you guys, this is going very deep, is that I would position my agency as more so a partner within realtors' businesses, versus me just being an agency that they're going to pay for a couple of months and then go away. I would offer a longer term partnership, because my niche, the problem they had was they were sick of dealing with agencies. So I'm just solving my market's problems, and I'm coming off not as an agency, but as a partner, a marketing partner within their business. Now, this alone is going to help you guys a lot, but I always recommend, in terms of pricing model, if you guys can collect $3 to $5 grand up front, that's going to give you the cash needed to invest into more outreach specialists. So if you get these people all the way down to a sales call and you get them to pay you $3 grand, now you're going to have $3 grand in your bank account that could come full circle all the way back to the top and just pump out more cold DMs. Like, this is how you scale if you're tight on cash, right? And in terms of how you could do this, you could offer a longer term deal. So instead of asking for $1,000 up front, $1,000 a month for a 90-day minimum, what you could do is you could ask for $3 grand up front for 90 days of working together, right? And it gives you the cash up front that allows you to make more plays and more moves, right? And then eventually, hiring a closer that could do the sales calls for you. Like, that's how you automate client acquisition. And the tough part about it, this is what people don't talk about, is that starting off, you are an outreach specialist, you are an appointment setter, you are a closer, you are a client success manager, customer support, finance department, you are everything in the business. So you will need to work extremely hard if you want to see success. That is the blatant truth that nobody wants to tell you. Until you scale and until you could hire these people out, you are going to grind your life away. Okay? And it's worth it in the end. Now, next step. now we have a client, right? We took someone from being a regular stranger on Facebook or Instagram. We pitched them. They showed interest, right? We sent them the VSL. We put them in the email sequence. We posted content. We gave them different call to actions. Now they're an engaged lead, like actually hot lead. And then we intro called the ones that didn't book in. We get them on sales calls, and then we aim to collect 3 to 5K up front. If you can't, that's totally cool. If you're starting from zero, you have to offer free trials, in my opinion. Unless you want to wait a very long time to actually get someone to just honestly just take a shot on you, which is what happened to me. I never offered free trials, and it took me 8 months to get a client. Like, if you want to do that, if you don't want to put in the extra work, if I would have known to offer free trials, honestly, like, I probably would have done it first. And yeah, moving on to service delivery, right? I know a lot of you guys have questions regarding service delivery. I like to keep it as scalable as possible because people don't talk about it. But if you spend hours per day for each client, and again, this is very niche specific, like if you have a very complex service delivery in e-com or something like that, you're going to charge a lot more, take a lot more percentage of deals and revenue. But the problem is that it takes a ton of time. So some people cap out at 10K a month because it's literally so dang hard to scale the service delivery, right? And so what I do is I make a very streamlined onboarding process for new clients. Like, you could use a simple Google form and just collect all the information that you need from them, get yourself added onto their ads manager, and that's really simply how you could do onboarding. In terms of some other sauce that I could give you guys is, yeah, you want to streamline service delivery, and what that looks like for me is every client, every Monday you go into their account and you track their numbers, you track their cost per lead, and you send them an email, and then you do get on client calls with them when needed. That's how I go about making a very scalable service delivery. On the flip side, this is something I offered that not many others would offer. And what it is client support, accountability, and training. Without this, you'll have a very large churn rate and your value proposition will be lower. If you could go to people, right? And again, I mentioned this earlier, you don't just want to say, hey, I do Facebook ads. Do you want to work with me or 1,000 other people that are offering you the same thing? What you could come up with is a unique value to a specific problem they have, right? With your lead generation, with your ad model as the actual solution, but you're solving the problem, you're not pitching the model, and then telling them that, yeah, we're not only going to bring you leads, but we're also going to train you on how to close the leads. And how do you do that? You literally teach them the same exact process that I'm teaching you. So you teach them how to intro call their leads. Like, you teach them what to say on intro calls. You teach them what to say on sales calls. Again, niche dependent, but you providing training for lead conversion makes your value just go through the roof, and it makes you way more different than any other beginner, okay? When you have this combination and you've nailed in your service delivery, you will get client results. And as a result of client results, you can use case studies in your outreach and sales. And this is how you scale, because now you plug in your case study on how you helped X dentist get $100,000 added in revenue in 90 days or whatever the claim is, and you put that within your pitch. You mention that on a sales call within your VSL. It just helps everywhere. So this is the funnel. Like, this is everything that you need. I didn't hit on this too much, but I had also hired a client success manager that would just do the ads for me. And so I was literally out of service delivery. I was basically out of everything besides closing. I was still the closer here. But this is it laid out. Like, guys, you do not need to watch any other video after this. You just need to take action, and you will figure it out. Right? I don't know what stage you're at, but I'm talking to beginners. I'm talking to people that are at 10K a month in any online business. Like, this is what you could follow. You know who to hire, you know what you need to be doing in the process, and you know the step-by-step from top of funnel, how we're generating leads, to middle of funnel, how we're nurturing, right? Without that, you're gonna be fighting an uphill battle. And then bottom of funnel is how to turn them into intro calls, sales calls, and ultimately make a ton of money, and also service delivery, right? So, I mean, this is pretty much the entire thing broken down. And in terms of how you could take action on this, you want to start step by step, right? So this is something I recommend to everybody is, like, this looks overwhelming, but start top of funnel, right? Like, start by, implementing the DM outreach. And then what do you do next? Now you move to middle of funnel. make a VSL, right? The email sequence, the content can come later. Make a VSL, right? Next step, bottom of funnel, intro call script, right? Be clear on exactly what you're going to be saying when you go to call your leads and go high level. Sales script, right? Look back at sales calls. Do sales training. Like, this is how, and it's going step by step. Like, do step by step. Like, please don't try to build your streamlined service delivery before you're even sending cold DMs. Like, it's crazy to me. Don't make your VSL until you're actually sending DMs. I had a question the other day, and somebody asked me, I'm doing the cold DMs, but I don't have a VSL yet. And if I'm offering people to watch the VSL, like, shouldn't I just make it right now? And I'm like, dude, let's just focus on getting someone to be interested in even watching your VSL. And it's like, then let's focus on making it, right? Like, step by step here. And then ultimately you could focus on service delivery, streamlining, onboarding, and training. So, I mean, I think you should be crystal clear on how this works by now. This is the entire funnel, guys. That's pretty much it. I mean, I'm giving you thousands of dollars worth of value. Like, this is everything laid out for you. Take a picture. I mean, hold on, I have like so many random drawings on here, but yeah, I mean, I really do hope you found this video valuable. If you did, click that sub button, drop me a comment below on if you're crystal clear on what you have to do now so you don't have to watch 30 other YouTube videos and podcasts and waste your time and not see your bank account go up. You know the action plan, crystal clear, head down, delete YouTube, get to it right now. And that's pretty much it. So hit that sub button, and you can follow me on Instagram, shoot me a message there if you have any particular questions. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. I hope you found this banger valuable.